This is HSK Tangirala, Director, Institute of Cooperative Management, Rajendra Nagar, Hyderabad. Today we are going to discuss about the farmer producer organizations. What exactly is a farmer producer organizations? Farmer producer organization is a legal entity formed by primary producers. They may be farmers, they may be milk producers, they may be fishermen, weavers, rural artisans, craftsmen. A farmer producer organization can be a producer company, a cooperative society, or a society or a trust like it can be registered and it may be in any legal form which provides a sharing of profits benefits among the members. Generally, the Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium SFAC is providing support in promotion of the FPOs. So this is the organization. Now we will see how this organization is formed, what is its structure, what are the services this will provide. So we will see. But before that one, we have to discuss what is the Government of India made the efforts on this. Department of Agriculture and Cooperation, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India launched a pilot program for promoting member-based farmer producer organizations during 2011 and 12 in partnership with the state governments, which was implemented through Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium. We will see what exactly how the FSCs are formed. First, the state government will have to identify the resource institution. Then after identifying the resource institution will help in preparation of the report, and after that one it will be implemented. In that particular report, diagnostic study, feasibility study, all the type of the studies will be done and a DPR will be submitted to the government. For identifying the resource institution, that is RI, if any state government approaches the SFAC, Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium, then directly they can go for the FPOs is concerned. Otherwise, they have to go for the non-FACS organizations are there, then they have to be empaneled. So this is how it happens. So before forming FACS, FPOs, first FIG, farmers interest groups are formed, and just like self-help groups, and after that these groups are federated and then the FPOs are formed. That FPO will be a registered organization. FIG is a not registered organization. FIGs consist of 15 to 20 farmers, and these farmers group is known as FIG, just like self-help group, and then the group of 50 to 70 or 50 to 80, these groups can be converted into a federation, and then that is registered, that is known as FPO. So this is the main clarity one should have. So here if you see, as I have discussed about the Government of India, the pilot was involved in mobilization of approximately 2.5 lakhs farmers into 250 FPOs. Now you please see here, each with an average membership of 1000 farmers. In the 1000 farmer, how the 1000 farmers have come? Because there are so many FIGs are there. In each FIG, 15 to 20 people are there across the country under the two sub schemes of the. There are two sub schemes are there. That is RKVY, Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, namely National Vegetable Initiative for the urban clusters and the program for the pulses development for 60,000 rainfed villages. What is the major purpose of this particular project of the cultivating the farmers, especially the small farmers at the various levels across the several states, so as to foster technology penetration, improve productivity, enable improved access to the inputs and services, and increase farmers' income, thereby strengthening their sustainable agriculture based livelihood. So this is the major advantage of for the farmers. The FICS is supporting these FPOs through empaneled resource institutions which provides various inputs of training, capacity building, linking these bodies into suppliers, technology providers and marketplace. So now you please see here how this FICS has created a network. This is the first, as I have mentioned here. You will please see, this is a village level organization. This is known as FIG. This is FIG and this is FIG. And what the FID does? What is the advantage of the FIG? The FIG does a crop planning. FIG about the seed production, about the demonstration, knowledge sharing and aggregation of all these things. So this is a duty of the village level FIG. So in one single village there may be so many FIGs are there, and after all these FIGs will be federated as KPC. Yes, KPC. This is KPC means Kisan Producers Company or Kisan Producers Cooperative or farmer. Kisan means farmer only. Farmer Producer Company or Farmer Producer Cooperative. Now in this there will be, now you please see here, 1000 farmers are here. And how many FIGs are there? 50. 50 in one, that means with one KPC there are 50 FIGs are there. What this cluster does? This is at a cluster level. This cluster consists of 10 to 12 villages. In each village there are 15 to 20 groups are there, FIGs are there. What this cluster does? They provide credit, they provide input, they provide technology, capacity building and market linkage that they will create to whom? To this particular group. So as this and this put together this is known as FPO, and this is registered, this body, these total people will be this thing. And at the state level, what the state level will do? Federation of the KPCs. There will be so many KPCs are there. There may be so many FPOs are there, and all these FPOs put together, there will be another federation at the state level. Now you please see, there will be 10,000 plus farmers will be there, and what they will do? They will do at the policy advocacy, explore wider markets and strategy partnership and linkages. And they may even discuss about these exports also and imports also, what are the raw materials or any other things that is required or technology that they can. So at the state level, so this federation. So this is a model, this is a structure that was created by SFAC, Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium. Okay. Now you please see here the FPO's typical range of services. What are the services these FPOs will provide to the farmers? This is input supply, seeds, fertilizers, machinery, first one, and here financial and technical. This is known as a credit, savings, insurance extension, etc. And then after that, market linkages. This will be contract farming and procurement under the MSP, that is minimum support price. After that, the training and networking also will be done, and the HRD and policy advocacy and documentation. Total documentation will be done, and HRD, human resource development, will take place through the training programs, through any other interventions as required at the farmer level is concerned. Like a cooperative society. Like a cooperative society, these FPOs also have certain principles. Same principles. Because FPOs are can be registered under Societies Act 1860. The FPOs can be registered under Companies Act 1956. The FPOs can be registered under Cooperative Societies Act. It may be Central Act or State Act. Multi-State Cooperative Society Act they can do, and they can do under Cooperative Societies Act under respect to state acts. So in cooperative societies also there are principles are there, same principles. There is no change at all in FPOs also. Open and voluntary membership, voluntary and open membership. So there is no restriction, there is no question of the choice, there is no gender bias, there is no social, racial, political, there is no discrimination, sir. And a democratic farmer member control. This is a democratic organization, it is a people's organization. So there is no question of the control, regulation by any other organizations or any other pressures they will have. So they themselves will take the decisions as a group, and there will be a board will be there, and the board will decide the take decisions, make decisions. So FPOs are the democratic controlled by their farmer members who actually participate in setting their policies and making decisions. Men and women serving as elected representative are accountable to the collective bodies of the members. In FPOs, farmer members have equal voting rights, and one member, one vote, and FPO at other level are also organized in a democratic manner. So this is member economic participation. This is the third principle, just like in cooperatives. So other cooperatives in FPO, which is a cooperative organization, so same principles will be there, and farmer member contribute equitably to and democratically control the capital of the FPOs. So this capital is, it may be equitably and it may be democratically controlled. So everything will be transparent, and at least part of the capital is usually common property of the FPO. So some part of the capital pooled from all the people can be converted into capital. It is the property of the FPOs. Farmer members usually receive limited compensation, if any, on the capital subscribed as a condition of the membership. Farmer members allocate surpluses for any or of the following purposes. So for the following purposes, the surpluses are, that is for the development of the FPOs by setting up reserves, because reserves are required for future, which part of which at least would be indivisible. So some part will not be divisible, it will be kept aside and it will not be given to the members. And benefiting members in proportion to their transactions with the FPOs. Supporting their activities approved by the members. So everything will be discussed in the meeting and it will be finalized. Autonomy and independence. They are all the autonomous organizations, and independent organizations, they take their own decisions and they face the consequences also. The FPOs are the autonomous self-help group, self-help organizations controlled by their farmer members. If they enter into the agreement with the other organization, including the government, or raise capital for the external sources, they do so on terms that ensures democratic control by their farmer members and maintain their FPOs autonomy. Education, training and information. The FPOs provide the education and the training to their farmer members about the cultivation, about the crop planning, about the value addition, about the processing, anything. So, or everything about their own organization, everything will, to their elected representatives, they will give training, to their members they will give training, their managers they will give, their employees they will give, so that they can contribute effectively to the development of the FPOs, what is happening, so that they can become professional. They inform the general public, particularly young people and opinion leaders, about the nature and benefit of the FPO is concerned, because let the other people also know, so that they can form the FPOs. Next principle is cooperation among FPOs. So among the FPOs, so there will be so many FPOs will be there. So every FPO should not become a competitor. So they have to cooperate each other, and they should strengthen the FPO movement working together through local, national, regional, and international structure. Another and last principle is concern for community. These FPOs are not working or functioning in isolation, and they are part of the system. So they are part of these people, so they should have concern what is happening if any crisis or devastation or disasters that is taking place. Now you please see, so they have to help not only to their members, farmers, even to the outside public also. Even they may give donations also to the Prime Minister's Relief Fund and Chief Minister's Relief Fund or any other disasters that is taking place. And examples are now in the Corona also the people are suffering, so that is why they can take any social service activities they can take up, or even they may donate to the Chief Minister or Prime Minister Relief Funds in the COVID-19. Now what is happening is that there is the first phase we have discussed about the FPOs is concerned. What happens actually in case of the FPOs formation is, once the state governments decides that the state wants the FPOs so as to use the natural resources effectively and to bring the farmers, then what will happen is that the government will ask the small farmers agribusiness consortium to prepare a DPR about the formation of the FPO is concerned, or through the resource institutions. These resource institutions, there are so many resource institutions, private agencies are there. So, which is empaneled. It works as a nodal agency to prepare so many other reports is concerned for the promotion of the FPO. So, state government may appoint the FSASA as it's a nodal agency for identification of the RIs, as it's a nodal agency for identification of the RIs, and or the promotion of the FPO is concerned. So, the RI is very, very important. Even they may not, the state government may not go to the small farmers agribusiness consortium. Even directly they may go for the RI, and then as a nodal agency they can start. So this is how it is. The state government may directly approach the FSCS to submit the project proposal. So directly they may ask, or otherwise they may go for a that is another nodal agencies, non-SFAC. Non-SFAC also. So the FPO promotion is made available necessary budget after the SFAC submits a proposal and the same is approved by the state level sanction committee, SLSC. How actually a RI is selected? What are the various criteria? Because the RI must have, the resource institution must have certain eligibilities that they should have. So they should have promoted or in process of with a minimum of 1,000 to 1,005 members be eligible to apply. They should have experience with the working with the small and marginal farmers, or they must have the promoting of the farmer producer organizations, or they should have experiences particular to the geographic area, and the experience in working with the government. So these are the conditions are there, so that has to be taken place. Then what RI does? The RI does the total cycle of the formation of the FPO is mentioned here. Now what the RI does? RI does a cluster identification. It identifies the cluster and it does the diagnostic study, it does the feasibility study, it does the baseline survey assessment, it does the business planning, BDP they will prepare, business development plan they will prepare, and then mobilization of the farmers, how they are going to be mobilized, and organization and formalizing resource mobilization, how to as a shares, as a borrowings, as a subsidy. So everything regarding the resource mobilization they will work. It is not only financial, physical, machineries, etc. And then system development, how the organization will have to work. So the systems also they will, and business operations they will do, and then the audit and assessment procedure, everything. So all these reports they will be prepared. This is the duty of the RI. Now let us see about the each and every one, whatever we have seen in the this particular circle is concerned. And the first is cluster identification. Clusters are areas are to be selected by the RI in consultation with the respective state departments. So respective state government departments they have to discuss. And however, it should be ensured that the cluster of the 8,000 to 10,000 farmers should be formulated within 1 or 2 blocks identifying 80 to 120 contiguous villages that is nearby or touching, sharing common boundaries of a particular district. Diagnostic study. So they have to do the diagnostic study for the preliminary sanction. So the diagnostic study is to be conducted by the RI in the selected cluster areas. The diagnostic study is conducted to assess the preliminary situations of the farmers and the level of the agriculture in the area. This is a basic study. Then after that, the study also will help in identifying the potential interventions required and understand the specific project implementation context is concerned. Then after that, feasibility analysis will be made, whether it is feasible or not. So in that they will see the financial analysis, they will make technical analysis, they will make legal analysis, political analysis, socio-cultural analysis, and environmental analysis, economic analysis, resource feasibility, everything they will see by the RI, and then they will document it. Feasibility analysis establish a case for the promotion of the FPOs in the prevailing specific regional environment context of the FPOs. Whether as per the context of this particular FPOs, whether it is feasible or not, then out of that particular report that can be known. Then after that, business planning will be made, and in this particular business planning is carried out by the RIs with the help of the selected farmer representative. Here representatives will be taken out of that particular farmer group, and then they will prepare, and the business planning is a process through which a strategic and operational and orientation of the emerging FPOs is shaped. While baseline assessment figures will be important input to understand the level from which the products and services of the farmers for the farmer members should be developed. More important will be collective visualization of the future of the FPOs is concerned. Using a variety of the tools, systematic collective reflections, a business plan with a proper projection on the various aspects of the needs are to be developed. The key is to develop business plan in detail with at least 10% of the FPO farmer members to provide a clear vision. At least 10% it has to be taken. Then mobilization of the next step is mobilization of the farmers. Once a strong case has been established by a spearhead team is the main team is concerned, the top team, with the help of the selected group of the farmers through the business plan process. It is time to mobilize the farmers into FIG, farmer income groups, and eventually as a farmer members of the FPOs. As we have discussed, all these FIGs will be eventually converted into this federated into FPOs. The mobilization of the farmers should be done with a variety of the communication aids like pamphlets, documentaries, movies, posters, regular village meetings, and the proper vision development of the promoters of the farmer members. Everything will be discussed. The promoter farmer members are those who are eager to form a FPO on voluntary basis, having understood the importance and the potential benefits of the forming of the FPOs, and obtained through training programs and exposure visits arranged or provided by the spearhead teams of the RIs. Then organization and the formalization, how this organization that is known as FIGs and FPOs are organized, we will see once again. Mobilization of the farmers into groups between 15 to 20 members at a village level called the farmer interest groups or FIGs, and building up their associations to an appropriate federating point, that is farmer producer organization FPOs, so as to plan and implement product specific cluster and a commercial crop cycle. So typically around 50 to 70 FIGs can come together to form a FPO. FPO can be registered under the under the provisions of the Companies Act 1956, Cooperative Societies Act, which may be state specific in case of the Andhra Telangana 1964, and Societies Act 1860. So it is a legal entity. However, it can be clarified that for the purpose of the mobilizing farmers, it is not merely achieve the target of registering, but to work for the development of the farmers, so that socially, economically, that they can develop financially. The final form which the FPO assumes a cooperative producer company, a cooperative or a producer company, or multi-state cooperative society or a society, must be a decision taken by the FIG members at an appropriate time. So they have to decide under what act they have to register. It is important to stress the process. Process must not be hurried in any manner, and there is no right time by which the FPOs must be registered. We should not pressurize. We have to give a free time, sufficient time to the farmers under what act that they have to register. Any period between 18 to 24 months may be necessary for the FIGs to settle down and understand the implications of aggregation. Only then should be the FPO should be attempted. First, the FIGs settle down, understand, then they can go for FPOs. So the first stage is the FIGs. So let them understand, then after that they may go for the FPOs. Resource mobilization. So before initiating the operations of the FPO, so they have to mobilize mobilize by the RI with the help of the FPO representatives and the board of directors. Financial, human, technical, physical resources should be developed during the particular this particular stage is concerned. What should be the share capital, what should be the loan, what should be the other borrowings, etc., or external funding is concerned. So based on the business plan, the RI should liaise means a liaison with the various financing agencies and mobilize resources for hiring, purchasing, and developing various resources. So management systems development, the management system development also. These are the guidelines. These are the guidelines for the management system should be able to address the requirements relating to financial services, inputs and output management services is concerned. So the management systems will have to be developed by the RI. Systems relating to management of the finance, human resources, stock and inventory, procurement and quality management, marketing, internal audit, internal conflict resolutions, and their important functional areas should be developed. Standard operating procedure SOPs for the same should be established. So business operations. So the business operations is the commencement of the procurement, production process and marketing of the financial services activities of the FPOs. The RIs should carefully train both the government and the operational structures of the FPOs in order to ensure smooth functioning of the business operations is concerned. The entire value chain related to the various agriculture and allied products and the commodity need to be managed, will be explained in the business operations, and assessment and the audit is concerned. The RIs should facilitate a constant assessment on the performance of the various stakeholders, farmers and governing board of the directors and service board. They have to be a constant assessment will have to be done, and they should also help the FPOs to reflect the using the institutional maturity index to understand the areas of the improvement is concerned. There are the services they are provided by the FPOs to the FIGs is concerned. So what are those services? These FPOs, so there is a separate model is there. This model consists of following things. This is FPOs will offer a variety of the services to the members, end-to-end services to its members, covering almost all the aspects of the, that is cultivation, almost all. That means right from input technical services to processing and marketing. So this is how the FPO service models are. The FPOs will facilitate linkages between the farmers, processors, traders, retailers, and to coordinate demand to access key business development services such as the market information, input supplies, and the transport services. So based on the emerging needs, the FPO will keep on adding the new services from time to time based on the development that is taking place. So financial services are there. FPO will provide the loans for the crops, purchase of the tractors, pump sets, construction of wells, laying the pipelines. So this is the financial services part, and the input part, the FPOs will provide the low cost of quality inputs to the farmer members. It will supply the fertilizers, pesticides, seeds, sprayers, pump sets, accessories, and the pipelines are concerned. So procurement and packaging services also they are doing. Even value addition and packing also that they are doing. And here the marketing services, the marketing of the after procurement of the agricultural produce, the FPOs are doing direct marketing that they are doing. So this will enable the farmer members in terms of the time, transaction cost, payment losses, distress sale, and price fluctuations, transportation, quality and maintenance, etc. So all these things that will be helpful for the farmer members, FSG groups. Okay. So insurance services, the crop insurance and electric motor insurance, life insurance, etc. So they are giving these services to the FIGs farmer members is concerned. And these technical services, the FPOs are providing the best practices of farming, maintaining marketing information system, diversifying and raising level of the knowledge skills in the agricultural production and post-harvesting processing that adds value to the product. Technical services also, they are networking services. So at various organizations, various things, various departments, they are doing the networking, making the channels of the information, that is what is the channels about the product specifications and the market prices and the other business services accessible to the rural producers, facilitating the linkages with the financial institutions, building linkages of the producers, processors, traders and consumers, facilitating linkages with the government programs. So this is the last. So here I would like to say to all is everybody must visit this particular website. Small Farmers Agri-Business Consortium, please visit this particular consortium. There is a handbook is there, guidelines are there, and even formats are there, application formats are there. Everything relating to FPOs is available here. This is a very short lecture which I am giving. I recommend everybody to please go to this particular website. This is a very, very important. Please kindly don't forget. And in India, there are so many FPOs are there. In Andhra, Telangana, so many FPOs are there. And SERP also has registered FPOs are there. Society for Elimination of Rural Poverty, SERP, through women. It is actually women. And most of the FPOs are formed by this, registered by this NABARD funding FPOs are there. So it is for the better development of the agriculture and also for the income generation of the farmers. FPOs are playing a great role. But what I request is all the members will have to unite and they should register the FPOs in Cooperative Societies Act, and mostly they should go for the value addition, and they should go with a brand, and value addition is a very important, and they have to sell in the market with a brand. Now these are the what are the activities that takes place. Just is a pathway linkage to the farmers is there. Now this is also how they are using this particular technology, because in case of the small segmented fields are there, it is not possible, but it is possible in case of the FPOs. And there is no caste creed community relation, as we have discussed. Even the women has participated. Now you please see, they are using the technology, how the ladies are using the technology. So there is no question of only male farmers, it is fully for the female farmers also. So female also takes a great part. Any doubts? Thank you.